tell me so pleasant about that place. Even your emotion had an echo in so much space. And when you're out there without care, I was out of tone. But it wasn't because I didn't know, no. I just knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Possibly. I hope that you're having the time of your life. Think twice. That's my only advice. Oh, who do you think you are? Oh, bless your soul.
Hello, everybody. Hi, everybody. It's a beautiful Saturday morning over here in the CBD. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to spend a few moments with me here on SML TV. Hope you slept well last night and you're ready for a brand new day. A few shout outs before I begin, wherever you're watching me from today: the Seychelles, the Maldives, Malta, the islands of the sea, Bogota, Colombia, Cape Town, South Africa. You know, there's a place over there in Cape Town called Ghost Town, South Africa, where the law are not allowed to abide. It's a hub of criminality. It's a bastion of rebellion. It's called Ghost Town, South Africa. So if you're watching me from Ghost Town, in the middle of you calling for help, please, I send you love and shout outs from the beautiful city of Lusaka here in Zambia. If you're watching from Melbourne, Australia, Sydney, Australia, Bogalusa, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Shreveport, Louisiana, Plaquemine, Lake Charles, Livingston, Louisiana. You know, there's a place in Louisiana called Livingston. Yeah, Livingston, Louisiana. My dear friend Lexi Michelle Stewart is from there. Thank you for being with me. Guys, just a few shout outs to you. Hello, Pet Flo. Wesley says, I see you, my country people, one Zambia, one nation. We love you, SML. We love you too. We do. Bless you. Twig. What does twig mean? I'm just randomly picking these out, you know. Guys, thank you. Thank you. Let's get into it. Something I'd like to share with you that I think is important. Before I begin, let me just say, this is something I consistently hear. Oftentimes, people will jump on and say things like, but well, why are you talking about that? Talk about national issues. Well, we speak about trending issues. I'm a social commentator, is what I am. Like it, love it, leave it, or loathe it. That's what I am. What I do is that I look at trending stories, and if I have something to say about the trending stories, I turn on my camera and my lights, boom, I'm on. So for you to be upset because I'm talking about something that you think I shouldn't be talking about, well, maybe this is not your platform. Maybe this is not where you need to be. There are many other platforms on Facebook that I'm sure would fit your criteria. So I would encourage you, if you're going to come here and start telling me on my Facebook page, you're childish for talking about this and you shouldn't be. If that's you, honey, I would encourage you right now, swipe left, get the hell off of my page, and go the hell somewhere else. Boom. Okay? I thought I'd share that. I had it on my heart to share that with you. I did. All righty. Let's get into it. You know, for you to understand this, for you to understand the Ben Lombe Solochi debacle, you have to go all the way back to the beginning. Many of you know that Ben Lombe is a young man that is one of the most exceptional hairdressers in the whole country, dare I say. Very few people can match the skill, the dexterity, the wherewithal of Ben Lombe. He is a magician when it comes to making you look prettier than what you look like. Ben Lombe has the ability to take a woman that is average and turn her into a swan. Ben Lombe has the dexterity to take a girl that has no confidence in her looks, and he can literally turn her. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Perry. He can turn her into an angel. The magic in his hands, undeniable. But there's a flip side to Ben. There's another side of Ben that is not so beautiful. There's another side of Ben that is not so attractive, and that is his mouth. Ben has the most putrid, he has the most repugnant, he has the most diabolical lingo that you've ever heard in your whole life. And it's a dichotomy. It's a juxtaposition. I mean, it's one of those, it's like oil and water. Nga chayingira fye chamwingira ai katwa na chire chimupashi chire cha katwishi cho katwishi nga chafuma kuwi nga chamwikata edio achita switch on phone yako bwana fila turanda muchibemba ni disaster, total complete utter disaster. Insere shifuma mukanwa yakwa Ben, terrible. And one of the things that I've tried to teach these young people, especially social media personalities, I say this, and I know that many of you understand what I'm talking about, but some of you don't get it. I consider myself a social media personality, not that I'm important, but because I use this medium and I'm consistently on here, just like Ben is. One of the things I try to inculcate in these young people, especially the young people, is that when you have a powerful tool like Facebook and you have an audience, your responsibility is it's gargantuan. Your responsibility is colossal. Therefore, you cannot just say whatever the hell you want in whatever the hell you want to say it in. You have to be responsible. I preach this all the time. I mean, the other day, Ben Lombe was on Facebook. He had more than, I don't know what it was. Was it 3,000, 10,000, 8,000 people watching him? Now, what is the content? If you have a captive audience, what are you teaching them? What are you telling them? There's a reason we are called influencers. It's a very powerful tool. Ignore it at your own peril. Dismiss it as an insignificant tool at your own peril. Throw it aside as a product of a deranged mind at your own peril. But the moment you begin to recognize the power of a captive audience, then you will quickly see and you will begin to examine the messages. If I've got 10,000 people and all I'm doing is I'm insulting, what's it for? You've got 10,000 people watching you, and all you do is just cuss up and down, vilify, scandalize family. That's all you do? I sat down with Ben, and you guys know, I've had Ben here in my office here at Simoson. I invited him. And this is what I find sad about Ben. One of the Facebook influencers said it once, and I'll say it here, and I'm being very brutal with you. Ben Lombe has been embraced by the Zambian people. He should be thankful for that. Given his alternative lifestyle, Ben Lombe should be thankful that the Zambian people have embraced him. Given his alternative lifestyle and against the backdrop of our laws as it regards alternative lifestyles, Ben Lombe should be thankful that the Zambian people love him. They've embraced him. They've pushed in close to him. They love him. But he has abused that love. Every single time it comes into his head, he'll just say, and Ben will tell you, he's told me, in private, him and I would sit down and talk, and he would say to me, Mr. Muewa, I do it because they're so mean to me. They're angry with me, I'm angry with them. When they cuss me out, I cuss them out. And I try to tell Ben, I said, but Ben, they don't have the audience you do. You have to focus on your business. With the audience that you have, your focal point should be the dexterity and the skill and the service that you provide for these young girls that you turn into swans. That should be your focus. But if you divert your focus and all of a sudden you turn into that guy that all he does is cuss people up on Facebook and scandalize families, you're not going to get very far. Ben, that type of traction doesn't have traction for too long. It fizzles. In 2-3 years, you'll be a has-been. You'll just be a rumor. Sink roots. Do the right thing. Are you hearing that? Many times I've given you examples. This young man, Frederick Chulu, whom I have known Frederick since he was a little boy. The young boy that does the Michael Jackson impersonation dance thing. Frederick Chulu was the sweetest kid that you've ever met. He was so pleasant. He came from a background that they didn't have very much. His mother used to play Michael Jackson videos, and that as a little boy, he used to watch that, and he latched onto that, and he developed this skill. And in my personal opinion, Frederick Chulu is the very best Michael Jackson impersonator in the whole country. But he lost his way. He got aligned with a Chinese group whom, they gave him a lot of money. They gave him a lot of leeway. And I told Mr. Lee, I said, Mr. Lee, what you're doing for Frederick, very few people would do it for him. But because you are his mentor, guide him in the right direction. This nonsense of Frederick turning on a phone or a camera and insulting people at whim, insulting people at the drop of a hat, getting on social media and becoming a nuisance. I said, that has to stop, Mr. Lee. And I said, he'll only listen to you because you're the one that funds him and gives him all that money. Where's Frederick today? Frederick was languishing over there in jail because of his foolishness here on Facebook, and I've told him that. I sat down here with Frederick and I told him, I said, Fred, you can't do that, son. You can't go around cussing people out. And on top of that, you can't brandish guns on Facebook. There's a video of Frederick holding guns and pointing guns at the camera and insulting. I called him up immediately. I said, Frederick, have you lost your everlasting mind? No, Mr. Moore, I'm just joking. I said, Frederick, we don't know that. You can't be brandishing guns on Facebook and cussing people and cussing up a storm, turning the air blue with profanity. I said, what's the matter with you, Frederick? Get a grip. Wake up. Where's Frederick today? Chimona Ben. Ben, if you're listening to this broadcast, I've told you a multiplicity of multitudinous tens of times, and you know that I want to see you win. You know that I want to see your business flourish. You know that I want you to become the go-to person when it comes to hairdressing. And I've told you that. But I said, I've told you also that your ability to turn beautiful women into more beautiful women is going to be eclipsed by your foolishness. Ooh, let me say that again. I need to let that settle. That needs to sink in. That needs to sizzle in your spirit. That needs to reside within the cerebellum zone. If you allow these antics, why is up on Facebook? Fast forward. It's bad enough when you cuss, but oh honey, it's worse when these editors, they take your footage. Fast forward. Focus on your craft. Focus on your dexterity to turn cute women into beautiful women. I was really hoping that this experience where you had a brush with the law, because guys, understand this one thing, and I'm going to throw it up here. Criminal defamation of the president. Oh, wait, full stop. See, I knew I should have checked. I'll get rid of this in post. Criminal defamation of the president has been abolished, but defamation laws still apply. For those of you, and there are many of you, and I'm not talking about checks and balances, which is what we need. We need checks and balances. The UPND are not going to regulate themselves. They need a regulator. You can't just be some geek off the street. You got to be handed with the steel, if you know what I mean. Earn your keep. You got to be a regulator. We're not against regulation. We're not against checks and balances. But we are against insulting the president. But here it is. You've got Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, who abolishes the defamation of the president. Something that other presidents wouldn't do. And then now you have to also understand that even though that law's been done away with, defamation laws still apply. You still can't go on Facebook and insult someone and defame someone. They'll take you to task. They will. So here it is. Let me talk about this young lady here, Solochi. And this is someone I've met. I met her through Ben. Here's a young girl that is closely associated with Ben, a very pretty girl. And if you listen to Solochi's story, Solochi has a very compelling story. Her lifestyle, her background, it'll just drive you to tears. It's one of those stories that really should be a movie, in my view. But I'm not going to go into that. Solochi, who was closely associated with Ben, by his own admission, came on Facebook and told his audience that Solochi is a part of the C5. And we all know what he meant by that. When he called Solochi C5, what he was basically saying was that Solochi was a high-class call girl. That's what he said. That's Ben. So here it is, by Ben's admission and by Ben's revelation, speaking of someone that works for him, he himself labeled Solochi as a high-class call girl. The same, so in brackets, high-class call girl turns around and for no reason, from out of the blues, Solochi comes on Facebook and she claims that she had an intimate encounter with Yomaps. When that revelation came out, according to her, one would ask the question, what would the motive be to make such a revelation? You tell me, type in the comments, when a young lady that has a background of being a high-class call girl, okay, an escort, okay, comes on social media and then unprovoked, for no reason, turns on the camera and says, I have had an explosive physical encounter with Yomaps. My question to you is, what would the motive be for such a revelation? Tell me in the comments. I want to read your comment. What would be the purpose of that revelation? I want to hear, and I'll throw up one of your comments because I really want to get into your head. What I'd like to do is I'd like to understand your line of logic. Again, the question is, if there's a girl that has a background of being a high-class call girl, and according to Ben Lombe, Solochi is a high-class call girl, and she's an escort. And being an escort, and she makes this revelation that she has had a physical, intimate encounter, explosive encounter with Yomaps. What would the purpose and the motive be for making such a revelation? What's the goal? They do anything for clout. Boom. This is the answer. She just wanted to provoke Kiddist. That's it. That's the answer. Because when you, as a high-class call girl, step up on a platform, and you know that that platform has a multiplicity of multitudinous tens of viewers, and then you claim and make this claim and this so-called revelation. In law enforcement, there's a word called motive. What is the motive? It's just to slander. That's all. It's just to create fluff, and it's to attempt to destroy someone else's marriage and their relationship. That's all, nothing else. Because if you look at Solochi's revelation, when Solochi said, no, I've had an encounter, I've had an explosive encounter, and it was amazing. After that delivery, sure, it's titillating. I mean, there's some of you that find that titillating. Oh, really? Yeah, but then what? What purpose did it serve apart from this? To just provoke his wife. And then when Kiddist responds, you that are loyal followers of Ben Lombe, you retaliate against Kiddist. Kiddist today said something that I totally agree with. You cannot defame people and destroy or attempt to destroy people's families for the sake of clout. You can't do it. It's not right, it's not proper, it's inhumane, and it's simply not right. It's not kosher. It is socially unacceptable. You must understand that. To you that find this funny, it's because you haven't experienced it. Oh, it's funny to you. And many of you, you go on Facebook, and you laugh and ha ha, because it hasn't happened to you. Because the high-class call girl hasn't publicly accused your husband of sleeping with her. That's why you find it funny. Because an escort, a high-profile escort, has declared on Facebook that she had an encounter with Yo Maps, but you find it funny because she hasn't done it to you. That's why you find it hilarious. And some of you, you belly laugh. This is what I find amazing about you. You belly laugh. It's because it hasn't happened to you. And you're so easy to judge. So here it is. Kiddist, she felt aggrieved, and rightly so, like any wife would do, like any woman would do. She felt aggrieved. She went to the police. The police picked up Ben. Ben, in his usual MO, Ben Lombe sometimes is like Chilifia Teali. Teali will get on social media, blah, blah, blah. Then he'll apologize. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have said that, HH. I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. I have no idea what came over me, HH. I shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't have said it. Forgive me. For goodness sake, forgive me. Ben does the same thing. Here it is. Kiddist took him to task because the point is the law is there to protect you and I. As long as you feel aggrieved, when you feel aggrieved, they will come and arrest you. Now, here's what I find sad about social media. Kiddist felt aggrieved. She reported him. You Ben Lombe supporters started saying to Kiddist, if something happens to Ben, it's your fault. No, if something happens to Ben, it's Ben's fault. You have to be responsible for what you put out there. When you put out stuff, the word of God says you reap what you sow. You sow evil, evil comes to you. You sow dissension and division, division comes to you. But if you sow love, if you sow comeliness, if you sow brotherliness, that's exactly what will come to you. So here it is. They pick Ben up, take him to the police, and Ben starts to plead with Kiddist. Shaka bweke shepo na papa ta please shaka bweke shepo. Na di dufyanya nimbe na di bembuka. I don't know what overcame me. I'm asking Kiddist, In the course of doing that, Ben decides, you know what? This is not going to work, and there is no way in hell I'm going to spend the night in prison. Bolt! Now, here's my question. Ben, where in the hell are you going to run? I mean, I saw the videotape of Ben. Don't make me laugh. I don't want to laugh. This is serious. I'm not laughing. I'm not doing it. I'm serious. I'm not. Listen, I don't want this to be lost in translation. I don't want to sit here and make you think that this is, patty cake, baker, man. This is not right. I shouldn't be laughing. Ben decides to bolt. I saw that videotape of Ben bolting. I'm thinking, Ben, where the hell are you going? They finally apprehend him because here, guys, and I said it yesterday, the worst possible thing you could ever do is run from the police. It is futile. Resistance is futile. What kind of world do you live in where you think you can bolt from the police? Where did you get that harebrained idea? I mean, and if you do bolt, how far are you going to get? You're not going to get very far. So here it is. Ben jumped from the fire he jumped from the frying pan into the fire. Resistance against the police is futile. What's the point of all this, guys? The point is this: don't defame people unnecessarily. When they feel aggrieved, honey, the police are coming for you. So lastly, and I've been speaking now for 30 minutes, let me just say, social media should not be used. These kids, Ben Lombe, Chulu Ali, all these guys, they've misused social media. When you use it for insulting, insele, you've lost your way. You can entertain without using profanity. You can entertain without creating lies about people. Just downright lies. That's not right. That isn't. You find it entertaining because you're not the one going through it. I can tell you now, the pain and the horror and the hell that kiddists and yomaps have had to go through, some of you can't even endure 2 minutes of that of that horror and that hell. To be a social media personality, you have to develop rhinoceros skin. And not many people survive it. And there you are calling her something that she's not. It's not right. It's not right. Moving forward, my advice to Ben, stop insulting people on your page. Focus on your business because you've got a great business. If you've ever been to Ben Lombe's salon, oh my goodness, people wait hours to be serviced by Ben. How many businesses in Zambia can say that? You tell me. How many viable businesses in Zambia can say, I've got a line of people waiting to be serviced by me? Very few. So count yourself blessed, number one. Number two, count yourself blessed that even with your alternative lifestyle, the Zambian people still love you, even against the backdrop of our laws against alternative lifestyles. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, just Google it. You are blessed to be in a country, Ben, that people love you. Don't abuse that love, because one day, if you're not careful, the same, and don't be deceived by social media love. There is nothing more fake than social media love. They will love you today and hate you tomorrow. They will call you a hero and a heroine today, and tomorrow they will call for your head and they want to chop your head off. Don't be deceived. Social media, temo nove. All right. All right. Had to say it. Love you guys. Bye.